7. And I meant to do my video diary today, but just so happens that I was overly busy and it was not on my priority list, and so I thought, I'll do it later. And now that I'm driving, I thought, it's a better time to do it than right now. So apologies to, future Lucas watching or whatever. It's a bit high in vibration on the camera side of things today. So anyway, first of all, if you're wondering why I'm wearing sunglasses at 7 PM, I'm that tired that the brightness of the sky is kind of hurt my eyes a little bit, and I kind of do this, and to stop doing that, put shades on. What's a treat? I often do it too when I'm wearing contact lenses, like right now. As you can see, I've trimmed my beard today. So, first of all, where am I going? I'm heading up to Aberdeen, as that is where Joanna has moved to. So that's where we're going just now. She's up there for uni. Just moved in 2 days ago, so we're heading up today. So, what to talk about? First of all, on my trip up, so right now I'm just through Glasgow. Traffic through Glasgow is a pain. The traffic. So the traffic on the way up, from home, so from Stranraer area-ish to Glasgow, to maybe just 7-8 miles out of Glasgow was okay, because it wasn't at rush hour, because I had to go to the Stevenson quick to see Kieran, and whilst I was there, I air fried my grill and I ate that Welsh Drive. So they haven't cold stuff. It was the Morrison's Taste no chicken drumsticks Chinese ones. They're actually really, really good. So I had them, which is Welsh Drive. And then a protein cookie. That's Sai one. It's alright. It's really soft. Softer than I remember them being. Right, look. Just breaks right off. I need to finish eating it before I talk. So anyway, the whole drive will be a total of 5 hours, maybe 5:15 because of traffic. But it'll be good. It'll be worth it to go and see Joe. On the way up, so I always like to listen to audiobooks and podcasts when I'm on a long drive. Specifically, I'll try and listen to an audiobook as long as I can, really, until I get bored, which is going to happen. And then I listen to maybe a podcast like Real Bodybuilding podcast or something like that. Although I have listened to every single one of those except the Johnny Shreves one, so I'll listen to that probably for the last 40 minutes of this drive. There's still 2.5 hours to go. Audiobook of choice today. So I had been seeing, make sure I'm on the right road here, because when you head up Stirling and then cut right over to Dundee, then up to Aberdeen. Literally across the whole of Scotland today. So follow TM Cycles on Instagram. I actually don't think I follow. I subscribe to my YouTube. I don't know, but definitely watch on Instagram anyway. I always watch his stories. And I listened to Atomic Habits on the way down to see Joanna, I think. On my last long drive down, and I thought it was amazing. It's probably one of the best books I've ever listened to / read. So yes, if anyone's wondering, it lives up to the hype. Pardon me. It's very practical, as well as engaging. I think I listened to the whole thing. Pardon me. I listened to the whole thing in essentially one sitting, and then I'll listen to the last hour and the next drive. So it was really engaging. So anyway, TM Cycles, I've seen him a couple of times. about Atomic Habits and waving that book about, and in conjunction with that, he always like waves about this book, Jay Shetty, Think Like a Monk. And I'd seen that cover loads before, but see when it's like a blue background with like some guy with like nice teeth on the front cover smiling with his name, like just like a name in the front, you always kind of like, I don't know, I get this kind of like, it's going to be some celebrity type rubbish. I don't know, that's just how I initially thought when I seen that cover before, because I'd seen it in like Waterstones. So I seen him waving about and I thought, well, he really highly recommends Atomic Habits, and when he's showing us the Atomic Habits book, he also shows this as well. And I've seen him share Jay Shetty's podcast before and stuff, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to get that and listen to that, because I couldn't really think of any other audiobooks which I was particularly interested in. And so I have so far listened to first 4 chapters, 3.5 maybe, because I listen to my audiobooks on 1.25 speed, because I watch YouTube on 1.75 pretty much all the time, unless it's like actually any Fuad Abiad podcast and More Plates More Dates videos and Greg Set, I'll listen to them in on times, but everything else like 1.75, especially if it's like information, just to get it. Because although I talk pretty slow, and I think most people do just because like you're thinking and talking, I consume fast. Generational thing, you know, just so much stimulus all the time. So anyway, Jay Shetty's book, Think Like a Monk, listen to that, and I am very impressed so far. I think because I have like a kind of inclination towards like, I think everyone does to an extent, but I've been pretty proactive with it my entire kind of adult life, or 17, 16 onwards, about like veganism and spirituality and meditation and yoga, all these kind of different things that I've always kind of dabbled in little bits, and for me it just kind of hits that bone perfectly, the idea of peace and forgiveness and stuff. And I think even when a lot of the things in these kind of books are self-evident, so like so far he's been talking about fear and things like shattered. I've been struggling for words all day, even talking to my dad in IKEA, but wait, who was talking about? Can't remember now, especially when I'm trying to focus on the road, but whatever he was talking about, it was well, I think a lot with these kind of books, either the things they say are self-evident, or they're like very beginner in the area that they're in, the kind of main concepts and themes which they discuss. I mean, this is no detriment, I'm just meaning the type of book there is. Despite that, I think they're very necessary for people to hear and to listen to. It's like an example with Josh Bridgman. He started doing small snippets, like videos, maybe 3 minutes long, 4 minutes long, and it was the basics of bodybuilding. And I've heard him a couple of times say it in his podcast as well, which I've been listening to pretty much every single one since a year past in October, minus a couple of months actually. I'm an avid listener. I actually listen to Josh Bridgman's podcast more than I watch his videos by a long shot. I'm a podcast kind of guy, and I don't really watch training stuff unless I'm like getting in the mood to train and I want an idea of what to do. But he was doing the bodybuilding basics, and he was saying about how sometimes you just need to rehear these things. I think it's so true, because in life you're on this journey, and every bit of information is like a pit stop or a crossroads or whatever, and often you get caught up in something and you completely forget about these little things. For instance, with say bodybuilding example would be your reps are going too fast, you're not taking the time to slow it down, or you're not warming up right. I'll just say the slowing down reps. So you're doing reps that are too fast. I mean, the essence of bodybuilding would be to make sure your reps are or it kind of comes up and you're like, oh, I should do that. So it's kind of the same thing with like books, like this book I'm listening to. Irrespective of the practical takeaways, the mindset and the state of mind that you get pushed into just by listening to it, I really enjoy and appreciate that type of thing. And I've always wanted to appreciate those things, because it's like skipping ropes. I used to have old skipping ropes, and I started skipping a little bit with my mate when I stayed at my mate's, Keen's, with his skipping ropes. And his were plastic, whereas the ones at home for me were rope. And I was so used to like the plastic whipping of the rope that when I used light ones at home, I was like, I just don't like it. But in my mind, I'm like, you don't need new skipping ropes, just use the ones you have and you'll be fine. But then, this was a year and a half ago, maybe even 2 years now, a year and a half. And so, with that, I ended up buying new skipping ropes. And the reason I came to this conclusion was because I started realising I'm not going to do it if I don't have that tool to almost motivate me. And I don't mean that in any kind of disrespect to myself, as in that I'm not dedicated or whatever, or motivated. But I just mean when you don't have, in that example, when you're using the skipping ropes, you're not going to do it just by having it there. You need to have the one you want. I'm trying to think how that links back in, because I just get distracted there on this drive. But basically, these books kind of prompt a state of mind and an idea. For instance, today, that's what he was talking about, fear and forgiveness. Those two kind of biggest things I was listening to. And irrespective of the real takeaways that I'll get from it, so like reading or meditating and stuff that I already know, essentially, is that it makes me think about it. It makes me think about fear. It makes me think about lost my train of thought. Makes me think about these ideas and brings them to the forefront of my mind, which I always feel is beneficial to me. So, aye, but I think the book is really good. I like the kind of quotes and parables in it, because I love a parable. You know, as a human, I learn amazing from situations like parables and stuff. So yeah, so far really enjoying it. Can't think of any proper things to talk about it off the top of my head right now. I'll probably talk about it more when I finish it. But really enjoying it. Listen to it. Everybody should listen to it. I think everyone should read it or listen to it, because as for like the whole narration bit, I wasn't too keen on his voice at the beginning, but ended up enjoying it and kind of getting into it. Thought it was overly kind of dramatic and I don't know, wasn't too keen on it. But now I'm into the book, I like it. So that's that. That's not exactly an update of my week, but yeah. So I put me into more of an idea of fear confrontation and appreciating the present moment and removing negativity, which I think are pretty good takeaways for one credit on Audible. You know, it's pretty good bargain there. Audible sponsored that a little bit, they're not actually. So next I'll talk about my dissertation. So last week, jeez, I don't know if you can hear that, but like I hate when you move out this kind of tarmac and you can't hear any. As in, I can't hear it myself, but all I can hear is that noise. So anyway, it's my dissertation. Inquired and was so lucky as to receive a week's extension for my dissertation, which means that instead of being due on August 17th, Tuesday, midday, it's now due on August 24th, Tuesday, midday, which is absolute brilliant help for me at the moment. I spent all last week just trying to extract data from papers, and I had no idea what I was doing, and it's like what I said last week. I obviously haven't lived from even my own thoughts, which is take a step back, because I ended up getting so caught in this loop of what is that number, what is that number, what is that table, what does that mean, and going and googling little bits and not taking a step back and figuring what is a meta-analysis, what am I trying to actually find here. You know, read it and see what do you think those numbers are, because you know, like Pearson's R, Cohen's D, Hedges G, or whatever, these different things. Like, what are they? What do they represent? So I get so caught up in that I was really struggling, and then I was really struggling to stay motivated to work in like the evening, like post gym. So say I was gymming at 2, I'd come back at 8:30 and really struggle to get back into the swing of things. And then I took the weekend off after I got granted my extension. I went back to it yesterday, and everything just clicked, because on the Thursday would have been, watched a couple of lectures on what is a meta-analysis, how do you do it, how do you extract data, like what are these underlying principles that everything is based on, and it gave me a whole new, much better perspective on how to approach the situation, instead of literally just being like trying to Google essentially what are the numbers in a regression table, multiple regression table or whatever. It was just like, because doing that was so destroying. So now that's me, I've extracted all that data yesterday. Now the next step is to do a meta-analysis on the data, which shouldn't be too hard, and then discussion. I was supposed to have a meeting, what was it supposed to be? The 8th, I'm sure, so Sunday, but I was able to get that pushed until the 17th because of my deadline extension, which is good, because that meeting was supposed to be the final supervisor meeting, in which I want to have finished essentially the dissertation. But because of my struggles with the data extraction and then just staying motivated for some reason, I think the motivation, not for some reason, because it all really does make sense, which is that, check to see if I have to take this call because my things like segues, navigation. So the demotivation really just came from like feeling that my ability plus knowledge was less than what was being asked of me. So I was just kind of stuck in this weird loop and didn't know what to do, didn't know who to ask. Because my supervisor was away last week as well, so I kind of had no idea what to do. Yeah, he was away cycling the North Coast 500, which is cool, but that's basically stuck. So anyway, I took a step back, learned all about it, now we're rolling, which is good. So this week I'm unable to do it because I'm unable to do proper work, just little bits here and there, because of going up to Juarez. I have some things planned that I'll talk about next week as to what happened. I don't like to talk about what's going to happen, I just like to talk about the previous week. So it's basically just adventure up in Aberdeenshire. So we're going to do a little bit of work during the week, just a couple hours a morning, I think every other morning here. And then the week after that, we'll really get our head down for the final week of working and hopefully get it done in much due time, because it's my dad's birthday on the 24th of August. So I don't know if we're going to hang it that weekend for it, or if he's got days off work, can't remember. So we'll see how that goes. So yeah, dissertation is, we're finally in a stride now, because I know exactly the next steps. So yes, looking forward to doing that work. Pardon me, you're going to go sideways just for a minute to find where I'm going to go in this roundabout. To see where I'm going. Towards Perth. Yeah, E9. Chill. And then we're on this road for like 26 minutes, I think. If my memory serves me right regarding the directions, or if I've read the direction bit right. So, next bit I'll talk about probably. Grandpapa came down for the weekend because it was my mum's birthday on the Friday, so that was nice to see them. Yeah, 26 minutes on here. See, the menu's still working. So I get worried about that sometimes, I can see, especially when I'm not sleeping too much and exercising loads and not doing sufficient amount of work. Sometimes as if my memories are broken. So it's my mum's birthday on Friday, so I got a G Fuel. I know I've watched the More Plates More Dates video with G Fuel, but my mum loves it, and I'd already bought it before I seen that, to be fair, because it's like the buy one get one free offer, and it tastes amazing, and it does work, at least in a caffeine sense. So probably just really dear, nice tasting caffeine, but she loves it, so it's cool. That and flowers and a card saying Hero Mum. She loved it. And some London fruit she obviously after that. So that was nice for them to come down and just let's have a nice weekend together. We actually went out for dinner to Mount Stewart, Port Patrick. Food there was pretty crap, to be fair. I mean, relative to what we had heard prior to going. Specifically, the worst thing was like the fish and chips that my gran got. The chips were like refried chips. Like, see the way you get like chips are like they're kind of like a rectangle. Like they have a specific kind of squaring off to them. You know what I mean? If you get chips, just think chips in your head like that. It was as if they'd done that and then fried them like 4 times, as if it was like late in the day's version of. And then just other stuff was dodgy, like chicken was a bit dry, we asked the waiter what something was in the plate, he ended up not coming back, the broccoli was majorly overcooked. What else? I got the Balmoral chicken, and so did my papa, and they came with one wee bowl the size of my hand, and I have tiny wee hands. Like, look, this is on a protein shaker. They brought one bowl between the two of us. It was literally about 4 potatoes, 4 like wee potatoes, chopped in half in it. So, not much. But yeah, I was under impressed, which was a shame because it was my mum's birthday. But then she wanted to complain, and as pure para, but then she complained fine, and we got 10% off, which was good. But it was something really nice just to get out and go for a meal, even though that happened. But it was still good, and then over the weekend, watched Rangers get beat. That was amazing. Watched Celtic finally come into their strides. The new guy, Kyogo, was getting a hat-trick on his home debut. That was cool. They're really good. Really decent game to watch, even though Dundee have just come back into the Premier League. Like SPFL, I think it's called. So it's a bit of a sin for them, you know, going to be 6 now. But it's good to see Celtic finally getting out of the stride. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch the Celtic game this Thursday though, because might be busy. Don't know, too other than it. The gym as well, I've decided I want to do 6 days on, 1 off. Apparently my phone's too hot, probably because I'm on it. So anyway, I want to go to the gym 6 days on, 1 day off. Really just up the volume, up the calories, just like push to gain some mass back. Not some mass, but gain my mass back and more. Because I already feel like I've gained most of my mass back, to be fair. I swear creatine is working wonders. I'll take this off because it looks like it's I swear this creatine is working wonders, man. Because I'm nowhere near as strong in a volume sense, and I'm kinda not as strong in a strength sense. So like I was thinking my strength's probably like 90% for like 1 round maxes. And my volume's like way down at like 60 or 70%. I'm not doing too much, to be fair. But I think that's really just me removing the fluff. So I've stopped doing exercises like for a pump. Today was the first day that I'd done that, like pump exercises. And that was just because my lower back was sore trying to rack pull, because today was, I'll tell you that in a second. But so I kind of refrained from that. So like when I'm doing curls, if my arms start getting like dying sore, I'm not dropping it down to like 8 kilos and doing like isolated curls and just like wasting my time. If I either just push to do it or don't do it at all. Because I have noticed, at least for my personal physique, I look real good in this t-shirt, sitting like this. It's because I'm leaning back. I don't know. Oh well. I've noticed that, especially over my just like duration of training for years, because I used to just train for pumps really, and or I'd train for strength till a certain point, and then I just started just going out the gym for a pump when I started feeling like I look better. I would just get a pump, feel like I'm looking good, and then just go out. Pardon me. And when I get out, just like, it's weird when you do the heavy hard workout where you're just like using what I would call oomph. I would say Joanne did that. For me, oomph would be if you're shoulder pressing, you're not just shoulder pressing. You're using like an oomph as if you're like banging all your muscles to use it, like zapping them all. When you do those kind of workouts, you really grow muscle. And then when you do the pump workouts to show off the muscle that you've done, if you just consistently do pump and don't do the other kind of exercises, like oomph exercises, I notice my muscles just like decrease in size pretty fast. Doesn't really kind of pump. But I think that might be to do with me having quite a low lactic acid threshold. I've noticed that pretty much forever, but it just kind of clicked in my mind recently. Because when I do like an oomph workout, even if I contract my muscles, it feels like good. But I'm doing the reps kind of fast, whereas when I do these slow reps, I'll feel like I still have like 5, 7 more in the tank, but then I just like suddenly, like after, like I'll like I could do probably 5 more. I'll do 1, 2 reps and then I'll have to stop after that because I'll just feel as if like maybe my forearms lactic acid building up, or like in my quads or something. Do you know what I mean? So I'm kind of refraining from doing too much pump unless I'm like really sore. Or I'm gonna try and maybe do, if I'm doing 6 days on, maybe do like 3 pump-ish workouts. I've noticed. So I tried to do the 6 days, but then I'm going up to Joanna's today, which is Tuesday. So on Sunday I took my executive decision, since I wasn't rough at all, to, and that's not sarcasm, surprising, even though I had a few pints the day before. I was like, you know what, I'm going to do another full split session, so like my legs, then push, then pull. So this today then was day 9 in a row going, and I've been going hard, like as hard as I can, really, every session, except today. Today was the first day where I went to rack pull and I could just feel like yesterday I felt my lower back a bit kind of because I'd really march it and tense it when I'm doing pressing movements, and I feel like I drive a lot through my lower back, so especially if I'm trying to do a heavy pressing movement, then I end up my lower back feels a bit like that. But then the next day I'm normally fine because obviously I've not done, you know, lower back exercises essentially every day for 9 days. But today I went to do my rack pulls, which normally right now I'm doing like 200 for 8 or something like that. I also accidentally 1 rep maxed my deadlift to equal it 180. Because in my mind I thought I was rack pulling, because I was in the rack pulling station, but that I did. But I actually was deadlifting because it was from like this off the ground. Whereas rack pulling normally I would do literally from my kneecap. I noticed that works my traps sufficiently well when I don't want to push with my hamstrings and my glutes too much, because, you know, I've had leg day the other day or I'll have leg day the next day. So anyway, what's the point? So normally I'm doing that, and today I went on, tried deadlifting just 100 for 5, and I could feel that I just couldn't drive properly because same size I was in December, maybe like November size. So I started posting again to my Instagram account, my fitness one. I'll put the link below. It's just Luke Burn, the same as my private one, but then went underscore after it. That's Luke Burn, as in words, LOOKBURN, same as the channel name. So if you want to follow there and just see progress and stuff. Because I noticed that I take videos all the time, so when I was like decided to start bulking from September to December, I literally would take videos every week, at least once a week, and then screenshot loads of pictures, and I'd forget to put them in an album, and it just ended up an absolute nightmare because I would have all these random pictures just sporadically in my thing. And I'm thinking, if I'm going to take these pictures anyway, I might as well just put them on Instagram, because one, you don't know what's going to come of it, and two, it's one place for it all to go together, and three, it can accountability thing as well. So I started posting there again, but I'm looking forward to having a few days off the gym, let myself recover. But I've been eating like 3,100 to 3,200 calories a day, and my appetite is really starting to go. I noticed though that because like my appetite will start going, and then I'll go, because I've started doing 10,000 steps a day as well. That's 2 weeks now I've been doing it, and I'll go on my walk and come back and I'm like, right, cool, I'm starving again. Whereas normally I would just sit, and it would just like, as if it's just sitting in me, like just sitting right on top of my stomach, and I just wouldn't budge for ages. And then when it comes to eating again, I'm like, oh, so their steps makes you hungry. Lots. What else to talk about? Last one. Nothing I can think of. This is probably long enough. So, I think I way around this one off. Really, mainly the think like a monk scenario of utilize fear to your advantage. There was a good quote that Jay Shetty said in it about that Buddha said, which is, I think, if I'm recalling this right, that fear does not prevent death but prevents life. And I thought that was a really good quote. Resonates quite a lot with me, because you don't do things out of fear, so you don't live your optimal life out of fear. And I think that's a good quote which kind of smells these ideas. So I'll leave you on that quote. Fear does not prevent death but prevents life. So face your fears head on, believe in yourself, love yourself, love one another, all that good stuff. But so anyway, face your fears, forgive yourself, and chase your dreams, man. So I'm gonna go focus on the driving, listen to some of that audio book, and I'll talk to you later. Have a good week. I know I'm gonna have a sick week.